Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Today I'm out looking for some budget housing, less expensive places. And the way you do that, you probably aren't going to find them online. You're going to find an area of town that you might be interested in and just start walking the streets. Best thing to do is start asking people, asking the locals. They know somebody who knows somebody who has something for rent or for sale. And this is in, I believe I'm in Mabolo, which is part of Cebu City, and not very far, just a few streets from the Persimmon condominiums. And I started walking the side streets. I was actually going some other place and decided to take a shortcut. Probably not a shortcut, but a more scenic view off the main road. And it was a very quiet day for some reason. Very little traffic out yet. And there are lots of apartments, lots of houses, lots of rooms for rent. If you even want to, a lot of signs on the walls, room for rent, female only or male only, and that could be almost anything. A room in a house with kitchen privileges to simply a room that you would padlock shut when you were gone. And not sure what these guys are building. What are you building? I didn't get an answer, but they were hauling an awful lot of concrete back down that little alley there. So somebody might be putting an addition, a second or third story onto their house. I would recommend that you find a Filipino, to negotiate the terms of the lease. You walk there, you write down addresses and phone numbers. Actually, much of Cebu City doesn't have any addresses as such. They just have a street name and a building number, like Persimmon condominiums on on Cuenco Avenue. And then you want to know some of the landmarks around that area, because if you ever have a delivery, order anything online, they will ask for landmarks. Very few buildings here have house numbers and or building numbers. The building might have a name. I have done online searches for subdivisions, and I'm not really happy with the results that I've gotten. I've found a lot more just walking the streets and or asking. And here's another, Arpartel, and you might check that out online. I know a couple of expats who live in areas like this in houses very cheap. I think the last guy I talked to, he was paying about 7,000 pesos a month. Nice, relatively large house rental, which is about 140 US dollars a month. Not bad. He said, all the neighbors know your business. That was his complaint. And of course, you got dogs and roosters, but you get that almost any place you're going to live. But you will get that in almost any town, especially smaller towns, probably any place in the world. I've lived in a couple relatively small towns. One was, I think, a little over 1,200 people, and same thing. I'd never been in the bank, but a week after I moved in, I went down to the bank to open an account and started telling them who I was, and the lady said, "We know who you are." So word travels quickly in small towns, especially. And there are areas like Los Angeles, many large cities that have different ethnic areas. Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. They've got Italian areas. Italian. I'm sorry. I've been corrected so many times. Italians are not Italians. Italians are Italians. Iranians are Iranians, not Iranians. So I've been corrected enough times. I'll start remembering that. But I've been told that there is a relatively large Korean population, Japanese population here, and Chinese population. Met with a guy that's been living in Thailand recently, and he noticed the great numbers of Chinese here. He thought he was back in Thailand, an area where there's also lots of Chinese apparently. But you can get into different areas, uh, probably with different ethnic groups. I've been told that there's a subdivision someplace where lots of American expats live. Yeah, I'm not sure where that is, but and that wasn't something I was looking for when I first moved here. But if you are, start asking around. Talked to a Filipino guy the other day, and he said he had many of the people living around him in a subdivision on Mactan were all foreigners, Japanese, American, British, Australian. So you can get into those types of areas if that's what you want, gated subdivisions. But like I said, the key is to get out, decide where you want to live, what area you want to live, start walking the streets. Banners and posters are on signs and telephone posts. If you want the cheaper rentals, there's only ways I know to do it, and that's to either get out and walk the streets or start asking the locals and have get those referrals. I know a guy just got a really nice deal on a condominium in Persimmon, and he was living there, and I think paying $35,000 for a one bedroom, and he asked the girls to keep their eye out on for something bigger and better priced, and I think he got something bigger for $25,000. One of the upper units, loft type units, and just depends upon how motivated the owner is and the timing. If the place is vacant when you come by. Uh, if you're a foreigner asking, trying to negotiate the prices, there's a good chance that they're going to give you the foreigner price, that they're going to try to charge you a little more than they would a Filipino. That's why it's good to find a friend or somebody to help you to contact the owner and negotiate the price and then go see it and go from there. I have walked through areas like this at night and daytime, never had any problems, issues, and never felt threatened. I think probably when I first moved here, I was a little bit leery and apprehensive a few times. Uh, and I've been told by some people that there are certain areas that used to be dangerous to walk in, even the locals wouldn't go out at night. But in the last few years, they've cleaned up a lot of gotten gotten rid of some of the criminals, and they now feel safe to go out at night. I've heard that over and over and over again. So ask the locals what type of area it is. You know, if they feel safe walking around at night, if they think a foreigner would feel safe, and do your homework, do your legwork. I've contacted a number of people online without ads online, and in every case, the cheaper units that sounded enticing were gone almost immediately, and word of mouth is a big part of that. And a lot of these people don't advertise online; they put signs out on the posts and walls, and that's the way things are advertised here. That and word of mouth. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share the video. Safe travels to you all wherever you're at, and we'll see you next time.